Hey guys, alright. So this is Youth Minister Saquan back at it again with another video. I know I've been gone for a while. I just had a lot of stuff to take care of, schoolwork related, and also I've been trying to build my relationship back up with the Lord because I've fallen, guys. I really have. Um, fell to the point where I wasn't doing the stuff that I usually do. Usually I was on top of reading my Bible. My prayer game was still strong because prayer warrior over here. Kidding, but it wasn't in a place where I used to be. I wasn't, I wasn't content with where I was in my spirit. Like in the moment, sure, I got to do everything I wanted to do. I got to play video games. I got to relax, hang out with my friends. But the truth of the matter is, it wasn't as I didn't feel as full as when I did when I was with the Lord, walking with the Lord, praying, reading my Bible, fasting. I haven't fasted in a while, so I'm happy to say that you know I'm holding myself accountable for my actions, and I'm getting back into doing what I'm doing, which is I think great. Um, Speaking of me holding myself accountable, that's actually what today's lesson is about. Today's lesson, sermon is about accountability. you know, and it's more than just holding yourself accountable, but there's, two types of accountability I want to talk about. Accountability for oneself, so accountability for yourself, and accountability that you have for others, because as a Christian, it is your job to also be accountable for yourself, along with being accountable for your neighbor or, your brother, or being accountable for, those in your area. So, first, I'm going to talk about being accountable for yourself. So, this I'm speaking from personal experience for now, and then I'll get deeper in the Bible because mostly the Bible's talking about being accountable for others. But this is something that I've learned when it comes to being accountable for yourself. When you're being accountable for yourself, first and foremost, I think the best thing you can do when you're down in the dumps, you're at your low point, is to pray. I think you definitely need to talk to the Lord, ask Him for guidance, and more importantly, ask Him for the spirit of discernment. Because a lot of the times when we're in our dark place, we're confused and we're not really, there. But that's not what God is. God is not a spirit of confusion. He's a spirit of peace. And if you don't believe me, you could look in 1 Corinthians chapter 14, verse 33, one of my faves, and I have it up on my computer right now, actually, is that God is not a God of confusion, but of peace, as in all the churches of the saints. That was from the English Standard Version. So the point behind it was that when you're in your deepest, darkest pits, you should know that that's not God who's making you confused and feel like you don't know what to do or you don't know how to get out of it. That's not God. God's one of peace, wisdom, and understanding. God is not confusion. So first, pray for the spirit of discernment. Definitely, discernment meaning you're able to tell what's God and what's not. That's the simplest version of discernment. For those of you who don't know. So the point that I'm making is first and foremost, before you even think of accountability, you should always pray and ask for the spirit of discernment, and so that you know this spirit of discernment will help you know where you have to correct yourself. So that's where accountability comes in. So after you learn where you have to correct yourself, then you can start making those steps. So I have a lot of friends who do a lot of wrong things, and the first thing that they do is tell me like, hey, I messed up here. A lot of my friends, they don't really come to me when it comes to religion, but I know a lot of my friends who mess up and then be like, oh man, dude, I messed up. And I'm like, oh, here's what I think you should do. So in that moment, while yes, on my side, that was me being accountable for others, but for, them, that was their accountability stage. They were able to assess their situation and say, hey, I'm going wrong somewhere. I need to fix it. How do I fix it? Let me seek out someone else. A lot of us think that being accountable means fixing the problem ourselves. That is not true. To be accountable is when you notice your mistake, realize it, and you try to fix it. And if you need to fix it through other people, then take that step. So for me, when I was down in the slums, I wasn't praying, I wasn't reading my Bible, to hold myself accountable. I realized I need to cut back on certain things I was doing. I need to cut back on playing my game. I need to cut back on spending time with my friends and my girlfriend. I needed to start reading more. I needed to start, praying more. I needed to start, doing things I used to do. So, you know, now it's like every morning when I wake up, I try to pray. And on my Bible app, I set a morning notification. So every day at 8 o'clock a.m. and 11 o'clock a.m., I get alerts with a daily prayer. So at least once a day, I'm praying in the morning, and once a day, it also rings at night. So once a day, once a night. So it's like every single day, I'm staying consistent with the Word of God. So, that's one thing. That was one solution that helped me stay accountable. But it's not about me, it's about you guys. And for you guys, it could be anything and everything. But I think that the first step is acknowledging, one, that you need help and they have a problem, and then two is seeking out that help. That's how you're accountable. That's how you become accountable for your actions. So not just saying, hey, I messed up, that's it, but saying, hey, I messed up, I need help. Who can I seek that can help me? And the answer is God. And sometimes God will, help you in the form of sending you someone or sending you a message. So, you always be on the lookout for that. And again, God is a spirit of peace. So if there's a message that feels like it's, double-sided, it's not of the Lord. If you feel like it's going to cause if you feel like it's going to hurt you, it's not of the Lord. Know that. Now, if it's something like reading your Bible, obviously, if it feels wrong to you, that's the enemy. But if you know deep down that is bringing you peace and that is something that you would enjoy, that's of the Lord. Okay. So, another thing that I personally did was I started talking to more of my Christian friends, and I was asking them, like, hey guys, hold me accountable for my actions. When you catch me sinning, like, let me know. Like, don't be afraid to call me out on it. Be like, yo, that's greed, that's lustful, that's prideful, that's wrathful, and anything. Call me out on my sins, because that helps me hold that's you holding me accountable, but that's also me holding myself accountable, because I'm saying, call me out on my mistakes. That way I can make the steps I need to correct them. So, that was one step. And another is, usually I have Youth Minister Sky, me and him have this system where, when we feel like we're about to mess up, we'll call each other and he'll be like, yo, hey, let me talk you out of this. Or I'll call him and be like, hey, let me talk you out of this. Or we just sit there and talk about how we sinned and what we can do, what steps we can take, either together or even separately, just what steps we could take in order to get ourselves back on track the way that we need to be. Excuse me. So I feel like that's just, that was one thing for accountability. Now, that's one side of the coin. The next side of the coin is being accountable for others. As a Christian, it is our jobs to live Christ-like, as Christ-like as possible. Now, when Jesus from the earth, Jesus wasn't like, hey, I'm not accountable for you people, goodbye. No, Jesus said, the only way through the Father is through me. So, I'm going to hold you guys accountable. I'm going to help you, and that's what it's about. It's all about helping, understanding one another. So if I see someone struggling, it's my duty to help them to the best of my ability. Does that mean I have to give them everything and anything? No, but help them as much as I can, just help them as much as I can and make it come from a good place. Don't let it come because I want glory, but just help them just because I can. So the same thing applies with, their struggles. If my friends need someone to talk to, it's not that hard to just stop and be like, okay, hey, let me take 20 minutes out of my day to talk to you, and we'll think about some solutions to help you solve your problem. Because, in Proverbs 17 verse 3, it says, in Proverbs 27 verse 17, it says, iron sharpens iron, and one man sharpens another. That was from the English Standard Version. The point behind it was that iron sharpens iron the same way that one man will sharpen another. So we hold each other accountable. You keep me on my toes the same way I'll keep you on your toes. We are accountable for one another. You can't love your neighbor and not hold them accountable for their actions and not expect them to do the same for you. That is also a commandment, is love thy neighbor. So you cannot, love someone and not hold them accountable for their actions, because if you don't hold them accountable, then you don't love them. So, you know, that's the best way that I can really explain it, and I think that, even if you guys need help beyond, and let's say you guys feel like tapped out, like, look, I did everything I possibly think I could, you know, try out our strategy. For me, I have my accountability project. So basically, one of my biggest things is I get very like prideful. So when someone tells me like, oh hey, I know more about this than you, I'm like, no you don't. That's prideful. So what I do is I have a lot of my friends call me out on it. So that's a good method of getting me out of my prideful state. That's my accountability project. So if you guys want, in the comment section, I want you guys to say, what's your accountability project? Like, what is something that you feel like you need to be held accountable for? And if you guys need help with that, I'll send you some solutions in the comment section. On top of that, I want you guys to like encourage each other. Like if you see someone's going through something that you've been through, use the comment section to be like, hey, I hear you, I'm here. Spread the love, guys. That's really all I have for you guys. I'm not gonna hold you for an extremely long time, but the point behind it was, when you're in your deep pits, hold yourself accountable, and then when you get yourself out of your situation, your job is not over. You need to help others become accountable for their actions, because, why not help people get into heaven? Why, let them stay in their earthly ways that is not good? I think that one thing we need to do is, one, realize our mistakes. Don't blame the world. We need to look back and say, no, we made this mistake. This is my mistake. Hold yourself accountable for your action. Talk to God. God, I've messed up. I acknowledge this mistake. I'm trying to fix it. After you do that, you've taken your step. That's the first step. Get yourself right. Then help other people. Bring them to heaven with you. There's literally no reason to leave everyone behind in the dust. As a Christian, again, it is our responsibility to help people as much as possible. Why shouldn't that extend to, the ultimate eternal paradise? So, I love you guys. Stay prayed up as usual and have a blessed week.